This is the story of a couple whose love relationship is filled with doubt. The limits of freedom are crossed to such an extent that it leads them down a path from which it becomes impossible to return. On one side is Rosie, who has shaken the foundation of their relationship by misusing her freedom. And on the other side is Jack, who tries his best to save his family from falling apart, but ends up getting trapped in a situation that becomes increasingly difficult to escape. The story begins by showing a man named Jack cycling through a forest on his way home. When he arrives, he sees his beautiful wife, Rosie, sitting on the stairs, staring at him intently. Jack asks her what's wrong, but Rosie simply gives him a faint smile and walks away to her room without saying a word. Later, Jack and Rosie leave their daughter Trixie with a babysitter as they prepare to attend a party. Rosie starts getting ready for the evening, and Jack lovingly helps her put on her shoes. Watching this moment, it seems as if there is deep love between the two, but the reality of their relationship is far more complicated, something that will soon unfold. Jack and Rosie reach the party looking elegant. Many of their friends are already there, enjoying the evening. Everything seems normal until a young man named John arrives at the party. The moment Rosie sees John, she greets him warmly and immediately walks over to him. Jack notices this, but stays silent. Rosie then takes John outside the party to a secluded spot, and the two begin kissing passionately. Jack watches this entire scene from a window, but chooses to walk away without confronting them. He is already aware of his wife's extramarital affairs and has silently endured them for some time. Later, Jack's friend, Mary, talks to him about it and asks, "You know everything, so why are you still holding on to this relationship?" Jack responds calmly, "Rosie can do whatever she wants in her life. I don't have any objection to it. If I wanted, I could end this relationship and she knows that. But I love her deeply and don't want to break up our family. I believe that one day, Rosie will understand my love." After this, Jack grabs a drink from the bartender and heads to a private room. Shortly after, John follows him there and with an air of arrogance says, "I want to thank you for your hospitality. It's truly impressive. Most husbands would get jealous seeing their wives with someone else, but you're extraordinary." Jack remains composed and calmly responds, "Have you ever heard of Martin? He disappeared some time ago. He was a good friend of Rosie, just like you. He used to follow her around constantly, and one day I got so angry that I killed him. Nobody has found his body to this day." John, startled by Jack's words, looks visibly shaken but tries to compose himself. "You must be joking," he says nervously. Jack replies with a cryptic tone, "That depends on how you choose to take it." Frightened, John quickly leaves the room. Rosie notices him leaving and tries to stop him, but John makes an excuse and rushes out of the party. After the party, Jack and Rosie head home. On the way, Rosie asks, "What did you say to John that made him leave so suddenly?" Jack lies, saying, "I didn't say anything to him that would make him leave." The next day, Jack drops his daughter off at school and runs into one of his friends, who jokingly asks, "So, have you started killing people now? That's all our friends are talking about." Jack laughs and responds, "John must have spread this. I was just joking with him, but he got really scared." As the day goes on, two more friends approach Jack and ask him the same question. Jack gives them all the same reply, explaining that it was just a harmless joke. However, when Rosie learns about Jack's conversation with John and how he tried to scare him using Martin's name, she becomes furious. She confronts Jack angrily, saying, "You shouldn't have done that. First, you pushed Martin away, and now John too." Jack tries to explain, "I was just joking with him. It wasn't serious." But Rosie refuses to accept his explanation and declares, "Tonight, I'm inviting John over for dinner. You'll have to apologize to him." Then we see that John comes to Jack and Rosie's house for dinner. Everyone sits together and starts having dinner. After dinner is over, Rosie tells their daughter, Trixie, "Tonight, your dad will tell you a story." In reality, Rosie says this because she wants to spend some private time alone with John. Jack, fully aware of her intentions, doesn't say anything. He takes Trixie to her room, tells her a story, and puts her to bed early. Once Trixie is asleep, Jack comes downstairs. As he looks into a mirror, he sees Rosie and John spending time together. Jack starts to feel jealous, and in his frustration, he goes to the kitchen and deliberately breaks a plate. Hearing the sound of the plate breaking, Rosie rushes to the kitchen. She casually asks Jack to get another drink for John and then heads back to the other room. Jack picks up a drink and takes it to John. While handing the drink to him, John, still uneasy about Jack's earlier murder joke, confronts him saying, "Don't you think you should apologize to me for that murder joke?" This time, Jack changes his tone and responds seriously, "Actually, the murder joke wasn't a joke. I really killed him by hitting him on the head with a hammer. And now, no amount of apologizing will bring him back." Hearing this, John becomes terrified, and he quickly leaves the house. But the question remains, was Jack telling the truth about the murder, Or was this just another way to scare John? This mystery will be revealed soon. In the next scene, we see Jack and his family at another party, where their friends and many other people are also present. At the party, Jack meets a writer named Mark, who is the husband of Jack's best friend, Kelly. Mark is often out of town because of his work. Jack and Mark start talking and quickly delve into personal topics. Mark asks Jack about his work, to which Jack replies, "I'm retired now. I do a little bit of work here and there, but mostly I spend my time cycling." Rosie, overhearing the conversation, adds something unexpected. She reveals, Jack actually developed a microchip that the military uses in their drone systems. It helps them hit their targets with incredible precision. This revelation surprises everyone at the party. Until now, no one had realized that Jack wasn't just a calm and composed man, but also a genius engineer and a wealthy, successful individual. However, despite all of Jack's achievements, the sad reality is that he lacks peace and happiness in his life. After all, no amount of success or wealth can make a man truly rich without the loyalty and support of a loving wife. As the party goes on, everyone seems to enjoy themselves. Jack even shares a lighthearted moment dancing with his best friend, Kelly. But seeing Jack dance with Kelly makes Rosie jealous, which is ironic considering her behavior. The story then shifts to a scene from a few days later, where Trixie and her school friends are dancing together, guided by their teachers. While watching the kids play, Jack receives a call from his bank. The bank informs him that Rosie recently transferred $3,000 to another account. Curious and concerned, Jack asks for more details. He learns that the money was transferred to a bank account under the name Charlie. After hearing from the bank that Rosie's money has been transferred to a boy who plays live piano, Jack quickly pieces it all together. He realizes that Rosie has found a new boyfriend since John left her. Determined to find out more about this boy, Jack starts looking for him. One evening, Jack goes to a restaurant where live piano sessions are held. As he enters, he spots Rosie sitting there, deeply engrossed in the music being played. Watching her, Jack immediately understands that the pianist is the new boy in her life. After this discovery, Rosie's behavior begins to change noticeably. She starts coming home late at night more often, making it obvious that her relationship with Charlie has become serious. Jack feels jealous and deeply hurt by this, but he chooses not to confront her. Then one night, Rosie doesn't come home at all. The next morning, when she finally returns, Jack loses his patience. Angry and frustrated, he demands, "Where were you all night? You have a family, a 6-year-old daughter, and responsibilities. And why did you transfer so much money to this boy named Charlie?" But Rosie, completely unaffected by his anger, calmly begins to explain where she was and who she was with. She does this deliberately, knowing full well that Jack is jealous. Rosie is confident that no matter what she does, Jack will never leave her, and she uses this to her advantage. In the next scene, we see a pool party hosted at the house of Jack's friend, Miles. Rosie invites Charlie to the party as well. As soon as Charlie arrives, Rosie becomes glued to him, openly showing affection. She introduces him to everyone at the party, and Charlie starts playing the piano. The guests, including Rosie, become excited and start dancing to his music. Jack, however, is visibly uncomfortable with everything, but despite his feelings, he keeps quiet. Later, Rosie introduces Charlie to Jack as her new friend. Jack, trying to maintain his composure, talks to Charlie briefly before walking away. That night, Jack looks around for Rosie inside the house. As he searches, he spots Rosie secretly leaving a room. It becomes clear to Jack what Rosie and Charlie had been doing inside. Later, Jack sees Rosie and Charlie in the pool, bathing and laughing together with the other guests. But their behavior towards each other is far too intimate, making Jack's anger boil inside him. Yet again, he suppresses his feelings and keeps silent. Suddenly, it begins to rain heavily, and the guests all rush inside one by one. Jack is the last to enter the house. Inside, everyone gathers in the kitchen, preparing food and enjoying themselves. A little while later, Rosie steps out to look for Charlie. Moments later, her terrified scream echoes through the house. Everyone rushes outside to find Rosie standing by the pool, staring at Charlie's lifeless body floating in the water. Panicking, the guests pull Charlie out of the pool and try to revive him with CPR, but their efforts are in vain. Charlie is already dead. The police arrive shortly after to investigate the incident. As the officers begin questioning everyone, Rosie, furious and emotional, accuses Jack of killing Charlie. She yells, "It's him! Jack killed Charlie." The other guests intervene, trying to calm Rosie down. They tell the police, "The relationship between Jack and Rosie hasn't been good lately, and she's just saying this in anger. When it started raining, Jack came inside with the rest of us. He couldn't have done this." Since there's no evidence or witnesses against Jack, the police take him aside for questioning in another room. After a brief interrogation, they find no reason to hold him and let him go. But this incident drives an even deeper wedge between Jack and Rosie. Rosie becomes more distant, and the tension between them escalates. A few days later, we see Jack cycling alone. As he rides, memories of the night Charlie died flood his mind. It is revealed that Jack indeed killed Charlie by drowning him in the pool. Consumed by jealousy and anger, Jack had taken this extreme step. His thoughts spiral as he imagines what Rosie and Charlie might have been doing alone that night. He has cleverly eliminated Rosie's lovers one by one, ensuring no one discovers his dark side. In the next scene, we see Jack dropping Trixie off at school. As he leaves the school, Jack's friend Kelly arrives and meets him. She hesitates at first, but eventually says, "I don't know if I should tell you this, but Rosie came to our house the other day. She and my husband, Mark, have hired a private detective to follow you. After Charlie's death, she started suspecting you." Jack's expression remains calm, but it's clear he is furious inside. Later, he invites Mark and Kelly to dinner at his house. During the evening, he takes Mark to another room where he keeps his collection of snails. As they talk, Jack calmly yet threateningly tells him, "Stop letting Rosie manipulate you into putting detectives on me. You were there that night, Mark. Do you really think I killed Charlie?" Mark doesn't give a direct answer, but his silence speaks volumes. Jack knows that Mark isn't going to let this matter rest easily. Mark is a writer, and his interest in Jack's personal life is more than just casual curiosity. He's fascinated by the drama and tension, and sees this as the perfect opportunity to write a sensational crime story based on Jack's life. The story moves forward, and one day, Jack learns that Rosie has found another new boyfriend, Tony, a college friend of hers. Jack starts noticing that they are spending more time together and growing closer. One day, Tony comes over to their house to meet Rosie. Jack is home as well and immediately picks up on the situation. They all sit down for dinner together, but Jack can't stop observing Tony and Rosie's behavior. After dinner, Tony seizes an opportunity and sneaks into Rosie's room, where they start getting romantic. Jack, as usual, is secretly watching everything. This time, however, Rosie catches Jack watching them, creating an awkward and tense moment between them. The next day, Jack follows Tony in his car. Jack drives up to Tony and casually says, "Hey, Rosie's been trying to reach you. She might have something important to talk about. Come with me, I'll drop you off." Tony, unsuspecting, gets into Jack's car. But instead of taking him to Rosie, Jack drives to a secluded area deep in the forest where no one else is around. Once they arrive, Tony steps out of the car and asks, "What are we doing here?" Without responding, Jack picks up a stone and strikes Tony on the head. Before Tony can react or defend himself, Jack grabs a larger stone and hits him again. Tony loses his balance, stumbles into a ditch, and dies instantly. Jack climbs down into the ditch to ensure Tony is truly dead. After confirming, he ties heavy stones to Tony's body. While doing this, Jack finds Tony's wallet, which he keeps for himself. He drags Tony's body to the river, submerges it, and ensures it sinks out of sight. Satisfied that no one will find the body, Jack leaves the area. The next morning, Rosie and Trixie are preparing for a picnic. When Jack comes home, Rosie asks, "Would you like to join us?" Jack agrees, pretending to be excited, and asks, "Where are we headed?" Trixie enthusiastically replies, "We're going to the forest side nearby." Jack's heart skips a beat. This is the same forest where he disposed of Tony's body. In the next scene, we see Jack, Rosie, and Trixie at the forest picnic spot. Rosie, unaware of Jack's turmoil, seems genuinely happy and engages him in a conversation. She asks, "Why do you still want to stay with me, Jack? One after the other, people are leaving me, yet you remain." Jack, staying composed, replies romantically, "I don't know why, but all I want is to spend my entire life with you." They grow closer, sharing a brief moment of intimacy. Just then, Trixie calls out to Jack, "Dad, come here." Jack hurries over to her. Trixie points toward the riverbank, saying, "The dog isn't moving away from that spot." Jack follows her gaze and freezes. To his horror, he notices that Tony's body, which he had carefully hidden, is now partially visible above the water. Anyone passing by could see it. Thinking quickly, Jack comes up with an excuse to leave. As they are about to leave, Rosie says, "Wait, I forgot my scarf over there." Jack, feeling the pressure building, replies, "Don't worry about it. I'll come back tomorrow and bring you something even better as a gift." That evening, when Jack gets home, he casually asks Rosie, "Did Tony call you today?" Rosie replies nonchalantly, "No, Tony hasn't been in touch for 2 days. Maybe he's left, just like the others." Then, unexpectedly, Rosie moves closer to Jack, wraps her arms around him and whispers, "Will you stay in my room tonight?" Jack agrees, and they both end up in Rosie's room, where their emotions take over, and they share an intimate night together. The next morning, Jack sets out early, taking his bicycle back to the forest location where Tony's body is hidden. Upon reaching the spot, he carefully works to push Tony's body deeper into the water using a stick, ensuring it is completely submerged and undetectable. Meanwhile, back at home, Rosie decides to clean Jack's snail room. As she rummages through the room, her eyes fall on something odd, Tony's wallet. She freezes for a moment, picking it up and realizing what this means. It becomes clear to her. Jack has killed Tony, just like the others. On the other hand, as Jack struggles to fully submerge Tony's body, he is startled by the sound of footsteps behind him. Turning around, he sees Mark standing there. "What are you doing here, Jack?" Mark asks suspiciously. Jack panics, trying to come up with an excuse, but Mark senses something is wrong. He steps forward, his gaze falling on Tony's body floating partially in the water. Without saying another word, Mark bolts back to his car, jumps in, and drives off as fast as he can. Realizing that Mark is going to report him to the police, Jack immediately grabs his bicycle and begins chasing Mark. Though Mark is driving, Jack takes a shortcut through the forest to intercept him. As Mark speeds along the winding road, he doesn't see Jack emerge suddenly from the forest. Losing control of the vehicle, Mark's car plunges down a steep slope into the river. The impact is fatal, and Mark dies instantly. At the same time, Rosie has made up her mind. After discovering Tony's wallet and piecing everything together, she decides it's time to leave Jack for good. She begins packing her belongings and prepares to take Trixie with her. But Trixie, in a fit of defiance, drags the packed luggage to the pool and throws it in. Shocked, Rosie demands, "What are you doing, Trixie?" Trixie says, "We're not leaving Dad. He needs us." Hearing this, Rosie realizes that leaving Jack would shatter their family completely and, in some way, she feels responsible for the chaos that has unfolded. To protect Jack further, she takes Tony's wallet and burns it, ensuring it cannot be used as evidence. The story comes full circle, returning to the opening scene where Jack cycles back home through the forest. Rosie is sitting quietly, watching him. As Jack approaches, he notices her contemplative expression and asks, "What's wrong?" Rosie gives him a faint smile but doesn't say anything. This story serves as a powerful reminder of the delicate balance between freedom and responsibility. Hope you enjoyed this story.